Stop scrolling, because we finally have the first design renders of the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. These new leaks show us what Samsung has planned for its next big flagship phone. And it looks like the company is focusing on small but meaningful improvements instead of making big, risky changes. This isn't a complete makeover of the Ultra series, but rather a step forward with polish, comfort, and a few practical updates. When you first look at the Galaxy S26 Ultra, it seems very familiar. Samsung has decided to stick with the same design style that fans already know. If you like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, you will immediately recognize the S26 Ultra, but if you look closely, you'll notice some key differences. The biggest change is the new raised camera island. On older models, every camera had its own ring, but now all the cameras are placed together inside one island. This gives the phone a cleaner and more unified appearance, very similar to the design language of the Galaxy Z Fold 7. The downside to this new camera island is stability. Because the bump is bigger, the phone doesn't sit flat on a table anymore. If you place it on a desk without a case, it will wobble a little. In terms of size, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is just 7.9mm thick, which is slightly slimmer than the S25 Ultra, but since the camera bump is now about 4.5mm tall, the phone still feels a bit bulky from the back. One area where Samsung has clearly made progress is ergonomics. The Galaxy S26 Ultra now has smoother edges and rounded corners. This makes it much more comfortable to hold compared to the sharper design of last year's Ultra. These changes don't completely change the identity of the phone, but they make it nicer to use in daily life. When it comes to the cameras, Samsung has kept the same 6-element setup from the S25 Ultra. That means no major hardware upgrades this year. The difference is only in how the cameras are arranged. The ultra-wide and 5x telephoto lenses are now placed inside the unified island, which gives the phone a neater and more organized look. But performance-wise, you should not expect any big changes. It's more about design continuity than new features. Of course, the bigger camera bump also comes with that annoying wobble when you put the phone down flat. Another area that Samsung has tweaked is the S Pen. The stylus now has a curved button design, which feels a lot like the old Galaxy Note series pens. This gives it a nice nostalgic touch and makes it more comfortable to use. But while the design is improved, the functionality has taken a step back. The S Pen no longer supports Bluetooth. That means you won't be able to use it as a remote control for the camera or for air gestures. For casual users, this won't matter much, but for power users who enjoyed those features, it could be a disappointment. The display on the S26 Ultra stays at 6.9 inches with slim and uniform bezels. Samsung has kept the screen flat, which many users actually prefer over curved displays. A flat screen feels more durable, is easier to use, and avoids accidental touches. The size has only slightly changed in height and width, but most people won't even notice. One interesting detail from these leaks is the possibility of Samsung using an aluminum frame instead of titanium. If true, this could help reduce production costs, making the phone a little cheaper to produce. Aluminum can also help with heat management, which is useful for heavy tasks like gaming or video recording. Samsung hasn't confirmed this yet, but if it happens, it shows the company is being practical and balancing cost, performance, and durability. So overall, what do these leaks tell us about the Galaxy S26 Ultra? The message is simple. Samsung is choosing refinement instead of revolution. The rounded corners, unified camera island, redesigned S Pen, and possible aluminum frame are all small but meaningful updates. At the same time, some decisions may split opinions. The bigger camera bump makes the phone wobble. The S Pen has fewer features without Bluetooth, and the camera hardware is basically the same as last year. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is shaping up to be a device that focuses on polish over major change. For some people, these updates will feel like smart improvements to an already great phone. For others, they might not be enough to justify calling it a next-generation upgrade. But one thing is clear, the S26 Ultra will continue the Ultra series tradition of being Samsung's most premium and polished flagship. Whether it meets user expectations or not will depend on what people want most, refinement or innovation.